Right, we've started. Hello, everyone. Okay, so my name is Adam Malik Wilson. I'm from the London, UK, and I'm a media professional. And I work with a company in creating educational content, in creating educational videos for teachers around the world. And I've been helping teachers in effectively use this media and this content and OER to enhance the learning of their students. So this is going to be the OER movement. But I want to first show you a problem that a lot of you must face every day. It's where the teacher has very little time, but has to plan so many lessons and create so many relevant resources for their students. And rather than using the same resources that have been used over and over again, that maybe the students aren't engaged with anymore, because there's so much digital media around, it's difficult to keep them engaged with traditional methods. So I want to show you how to use resources effectively to engage the students. And that's where the OER movement comes in. So the OER movement is all about ER, basically. It's not about George Clooney or anything, so get that out of your head straight away. No, it's about educational resources. And these resources can range from text, lesson plans, information, to video, audio. It could be a demonstration where a science teacher has recorded themselves doing an experiment, and it's shared with teachers all around the world. The main ethos of OER is that it is open, which means that it is completely free for everyone. So you don't have to pay for it. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not this sleazy salesperson trying to get some money. No, this is completely free for everyone to use. And it also has a Creative Commons license, which means you can reuse it, you can adapt it to make it relevant to your students, and then re-upload it for other teachers, for the Brunei teachers who can use it. So I'd like to show you some examples now. So this is examples of OER. This is a lesson plan of language arts that a teacher, she had a great lesson and thought, I'm going to upload this lesson plan for others who might find it interesting, might find it useful. And then they can take it, tweak bits here and there, but they can use it effectively in their lesson. So they don't have to create it all from scratch, not recreating the wheel. Could be maps of the way the world is now, or even maps of how the world used to be, which I find really interesting. Yeah, the UK's on there for some reason, and Brunei is, I think we're at the top. We're probably together somewhere, millions of years ago. And also there are these online courses. I mean, this is astrobiology and the search for extraterrestrial life. I wouldn't do that myself, per se, but there's lots of different courses that people find interesting, where there's videos to help them, there's information, and also tests and exams. Or there's even, you could use images, which is another resource. This image is great for inspiring students to find maths in everything. So you could find geometry in an onion, which is great. Or inspire them to discover things. I mean, this is incredible. So you show them this, and they're like, how do they do that? So they search for it themselves. And that way they're independent learners. They're learning for themselves rather than being told you have to learn. Or even terrible chemistry jokes, which I love. So how often do I like jokes about chemistry? Periodically. Or even Wikipedia. Who's heard of Wikipedia? So Wikipedia has information from everywhere available to you, and this is a resource which you can use. So if you want to find out about something, you can with Wikipedia. If you have a question, you can find the answer. So there's also lots of other things, such as videos. I'll show you now.
To test for hydrogen, place a lit splint at the mouth of the reaction vessel. You should hear a very distinctive squeaky pop, which confirms its presence.
So that's very useful. And there's even these videos which just inspire children to find out information, to learn for themselves, such as this one. This is a great one.
So you've heard many of life's curiosities, but did you know that cashews grow on apples? In this case, the apple is simply an accessory fruit with the cashew growing on top. Or how about the fact that mushrooms are more closely related to animals than plants? The most common ancestor between humans and mushrooms is more recent than that of mushrooms and plants.
I think that's enough for that, but you get the idea. And also, there are software which you can download for free. And I've put a lot of this software on the external hard drive that you'll receive. This one I found out about 10 minutes ago. And it's brilliant. So we're on Mercury now. And then it's for astronomy and physics. So I wanted to learn about Earth. Hopefully this will work. And here I go, traveling through space and time. And here's Earth. And it's great, you can zoom out and see all of space and where the planets are and everything. And this is completely free, and this is offline as well, which is really cool. Okay, so back to the presentation. So I'm going to show you a quick history of OER. So this is kind of how it started. And it started with universities who had their lectures and their courses, and they decided to put it online for their students. But then they started to share these courses with everyone for free, which is great. So these resources were available for those who don't have access to the universities or can't afford it. And even the University of Brunei have an e-learning course. And so from this blueprint of higher education, there are now organizations and people creating OER for primary and secondary school education. And these organizations are not only creating these resources for the students to learn, but also for the teachers to facilitate the learning of their students, which is really interesting. I want to show you some example of these organizations that are doing it now. So I'll just show you this quick video.
Coursera provides free access to world-class education offered by the top universities. Renowned university professors are working with Coursera to make high-quality courses in a wide range of disciplines available to people all around the world.
To Khan Academy. It's a non-profit with a simple but audacious mission to provide a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere.
So if we get rid of the percent sign, we move the decimal over.
He's amassed a library of math lectures,
12 plus 4 is 16.
starting with basic addition and building all the way through advanced calculus.
Taking the limit as delta x approaches 0. The exact same thing.
When Khan finishes the lecture, he uploads it to his website, where it joins the more than 3,000 other lessons he's done. In just a couple of years, he's gone from having a few hundred pupils to more than 4 million every month.
So the big idea, and I guess it is a big idea, is we're looking to digitise the whole of the secondary school education system, the core subjects of math, the sciences and English, into a range of bite-sized videos available free of charge through YouTube, but also available in a structured format through our platform, through Fuse. The same content being used by the kids at the best private schools in this country is exactly the same learning experience as a kid on a smartphone is going to be using in a developing country in any place in the world. We actually came up with a radically new production process, which is around interviewing the top teachers, finding the top teachers with the best explanations, capturing their audio, and then visualizing their audio.
Udacity is a digital university. Our team comes from all around the United States and all over the world. And although our backgrounds are diverse, we share a passion for making great education available to everyone in the world for free.
Right now, somewhere out there, there's an educator delivering a mind-altering lesson to their class.
I want to engage your brains in this.
Try to get my head around how vast our Earth is.
But that lesson only reaches the students in that room. What would happen if we could capture that lesson?
This is a toothed wheel.
What if pro animators and visualization artists could bring that lesson to life?
It's an object we see every day that would literally fit 1 million Earths.
That's the central mission of TED-Ed, to capture and to amplify the voice of the world's greatest teachers.
Does this in 1849.
And it's the crazy possibilities, the unanswered questions that pull us forward. So, stay curious.
By the way, I really apologize if you're feeling seasick from all this zooming around and flying through air and stuff like that. So, I apologize. So these organizations are creating OER in lots of different formats. Text, audio, video, even games and software. which I've tried to incorporate into the external hard drive that you'll receive. And so what I want to ensure that you know is that these resources, it's not a replacement for the teacher. It's just so it's an enhancement. It's just so you can enhance your lessons. It's kind of like this analogy that I use. It's like a screwdriver. These resources, it's a screwdriver. Sorry. Education is a screwdriver. The screwdriver, it's been used in the past. Back in the old days, they had they could screw in. It does the job. It does it effectively, but not very fast. It's okay. But then with the advancement of technology, you had the electric screwdriver, and then it does a much better job. It does it quicker, and it's much easier for them as well. But the electric screwdriver couldn't do the work on its own. It needs the builder to do the work. It's just like with these resources. With education, it needs the teacher to facilitate the learning with these resources. The resources are only a tool for that. So then, with the traditional methods where the students might not be engaged, that was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Great film if you haven't watched it. Technology can be used to engage the students a bit more and to help their learning. And also for the teachers, because you're using some of the best resources, it can effectively enhance your practice. And so as teachers, it'll mean a perpetual improvement. And this is from teachers around the world, so it's on a global scale. So now that you know what OER is, and I'm sure you might have used it in your classroom, does anyone know where to find it? Like online websites? Good, I'm going to show you. So, where to find them? I mean, you can find them on Wikipedia, like I said before, YouTube, Google, Wikimedia Commons. But, I mean, this is great, but there's so many different things that you can search for on this. There's so much that it's very difficult to find the best resources, the most appropriate to your lessons. So now there are these learning repositories which bring the best resources together. And these are, you best have written this down, but I will be putting the presentation on later. So these websites called Guru, Merlot, Kuriki, OER Commons. And I use the analogy of these over here, Wikipedia, YouTube, Google, finding the best resources there. It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. Whereas with the other websites, where they put these resources in a concise manner, in a structured format, it's more like finding a needle in a needle packet. It's there. It's all together. So it's much easier to find. And these repositories contain millions and millions of resources for teachers all around the world. So now, I mean, OER resources can be used in traditional methods, but it's also transforming teaching, which is really relevant for those with limited resources. For example, as Baldev was saying before, with one computer, one projector, no internet. There's lots of ways of using these resources, which I'll talk about now. One technique is blended learning, such as the flipped classroom. Has anyone heard about the flipped classroom? Okay, for those who haven't, I'll just quickly explain. Flipped classroom is where, in traditional methods, you had the teacher who taught the concept to the students, and then they'd set the students' homework to go home and then answer questions on what they've learned. But the problem lies when they're at home and they've forgotten it or haven't learnt it properly, that they don't have the teacher to help them, so they can't do the work. The flipped classroom has the student, where the teacher sets the work before the lesson, where they send them a video or a link or an image, and so they can learn the concept at home in their own pace, and so they can learn it. If they don't understand the concept from a video, they can just watch it again. And then they go into the lesson and then discuss and debate that concept, talk about it, maybe do a test on it, and then the teacher's there to help them if they need to, so they can facilitate the learning. And so it's more of independent learning where they're finding it out themselves. And so I'd just like to show you a quick video from an organization which is implementing this. So So it explains it much better than I can.
Like the other day when we did the golden ratio, when they explain it to us, they make it more complicated. It takes too long. And anyone who doesn't understand it, then they have to like keep on asking the teacher because they don't understand it.
And then they stop the whole class to do it, and it's like, oh my.
And they can't go through it that many times, but we need to get on with the next thing because there's so much to do in this lesson. Thing's really good because you don't understand it at home. With the time to watch it like a couple of times, you to fully understand it, and then if you can't understand it just from the video, then you can go get help from like teachers, and you have more time to like understand it. This lesson because we found out the information before class, and we came into class and we had to like get started straight away, and we were set to find something out on our own.
I felt more like a facilitator because my job was going around asking them questions to push their learning forward.
If we do it like this, it doesn't waste time because we're doing it outside of the lesson. We can do it as long as we want so we can properly understand it.
With a video, I think even if the parents can't directly help the student with the science, I think the fact that they can sit down and watch it with their child and discuss it is really powerful, and it really involves parents in their own children's learning.
If we forget it somehow after the lesson, we could go back to it.
Then you look back and think, we could have done that in a different way. So if you had to do something in the future, then it might be a bit easier. Day before a test, you don't have to go back to your teacher, you can go back to it at home. That might be quite easy to like stick it in your head.
In the past.
And so these resources are available online, and they can be on tablet, mobile or a laptop, but also it's available offline if you can get it, especially because we've put together the external hard drive for you where there's 100, maybe even thousands of videos that you could use, but there's also lesson plans, audio, there's software which you can use, which will be great, that you can install on your own computers. You just have to copy it over. And once you've got it on your computer, you can give it to students on USBs. I think, did you get a USB from Microsoft? Or? Yes. So you can use that, free stuff. It's all great to have free stuff. I just want to quickly run through a bit of the external hard drive now so you can see like a snippet of what you can do with it. So on this external hard drive, you have teaching sheets for different lessons, but also you can go to teaching and learning videos. Let's go to science videos, and then let's go to chemistry videos, Fuse School, that's what I've worked on, and then different topics, and then let's look at environmental chemistry, that's a good one, and acid rain. And then let's learn about acid rain here.
In this instance, whereas nitric acid arises from the exhaust pipes of our motor vehicles, you will also see some of the effects acid rain has on our environment.
So yeah, you can get, there's lots and lots and lots of resources on this external hard drive. And say if you found a resource online that you really liked, say, does anyone use YouTube for getting videos or searching for videos? So I really like TED Ed, which I put on, but maybe there's a new video that's just come out and it's not on the external hard drive. And you want to show it in your lesson, but you don't have the internet in the lesson, in the school, but you have the internet at home. So I like that. Is time travel possible? This is great. And so there's a website which you can use to download the YouTube video. And it's called keepvid.com. I'm sure some of you know about it. And if you want to download music, you can, but don't, like, I didn't say anything. I'm going to cut that from the video. Don't steal music. This is purely for educational reasons only. But what you do is, all you have to do is copy the link. So, copy, go to keepvid, paste it, and then download, go through the steps, and then you can download it, put it on the external hard drive or a USB, and you fancy USB, and then take it into the lesson and then use it that way. So there's lots of ways around it. One really cool thing on the external hard drive, which I found out a couple of weeks ago, is that you can download all of English Wikipedia. And so on the external hard drive, there's this folder called Wikipedia. The software is for Mac or PC. And also you can have the content, which is for all or just for schools. And this is the software that you have, which is all offline. And so you can search for anything that you want. I mean, the group before searched for a cat. I don't know why. So does anyone have an example of what you want to search for? Anyone? Horse. Okay, we're going to go for a horse. Let's have a look. So the horse is one of 2 extant subspecies of Echosphorus, or the wild horse. So yeah, it's great, and that's offline. And that's available to you on this external hard drive, which is brilliant. Yeah, so, I mean, we've got a couple of minutes left, which is brilliant. So actually, what I want you to do now, because we've only got a couple of minutes, I'd like you to, basically you have everything you need. So now, I'd like you to think about what OER you can use in your lesson. I want you to think how you could teach a specific concept using OER. It could be images or a video or software. But I want you to think about how to do this with limited resources. So if you can discuss it in pairs, just for a couple of minutes, think about how you could use it to effectively enhance the learning. So if you can do that now, I really hope that you can discuss, keep this discussion going, maybe after the conference or during the conference. I'm available to talk to you if you want to come to me and ask more questions. But I really appreciate how enthusiastic you all are about this. Tomorrow we have another workshop, which I'm hoping that you're excited about. I am as well. And I will be testing your knowledge on what I've shown today. So if you were sleeping during this, I'll know. So you'll have to be scared. I'm watching you guys. Okay. But also, tomorrow I want to talk to you about content creation. For the teachers of Brunei, creating their own content, sharing it with the world, but also the students creating content to show their understanding and show their learning, which is really interesting. So I just want to thank you for being here, being so great, and if you can make it up to the other room, that'd be fantastic. Thank you.